right, so with your knees still lifted, bring your arms up overhead. So they should be parallel with your quads. So arms parallel with your quads. Lift them up like above your head towards the ceiling. Perfect.
Sorry.
Great. So you're pressing your low back into the floor. You're going to extend your left foot away from your right arm. So stretch out your left foot and right arm. Perfect. While also trying to keep your low back pressing into the floor. Good. Bring the arm and leg back up to center where we started. And then extend the right leg out and the left arm, pressing the low back into the floor. If you're shaking a little bit, you're doing it right. Come back up to center. One more time each side. Left foot, right arm. And if I tug this, nice. Nice work. Good, come back up and then switch sides. Awesome. Very good. Okay, come back up to center. Nice work. And then just take a full body stretch, arms and legs stretch away from each other. I don't know if you guys feel that at all, but
Yeah,
that really impacts my my core for sure. All right, so roll back onto your shoulders and allow the head and neck to relax towards the mat, and then press into the elbows, rounding into the top of the back, top of a push-up position, coming back down, and then pushing into the elbows, rising and rounding the upper back. One more time, in your own time and with your own breath. Find that rounding of the upper back, and come back down. We'll extend the left arm forward now, press into the right hand, and we'll roll onto the hip, onto the left side, and explore for just a moment. Again, noticing what parts of your body you feel. Of course, you probably feel the hip, but try to notice all the way down into the calf, into the ankle, up into the rib cage, the armpit. And just explore, not trying to dig into any parts of the body, just trying to notice what parts of the body you're touching. And then use the right hand to push you all the way over onto your back, coming off your mat. Strap under your low back. Lift the knees above the hips. Press the low back into the floor and bring the hands up parallel to the quads. Nice. Extend the right leg away from the left arm. Pressing the low back into the floor. Come back up to center. Extend the right arm away from the left leg. Really pushing the low back. Nice, come back up to the center. One more time each side. And can I tug this? Come back up. Nice, press the low back in, extend. Nice work. All right, come back up to center. And then take a full body stretch, arms and feet stretch away from each other. Take a nice breath. Letting the core soften. And then we'll roll back onto the tummy, coming back onto the mat. And don't worry if you didn't feel like you got enough of that. We're going to do some more of it. So let's put the hands under the shoulders this time, and let's just take a wave up into a modified plank from the knees. So we're going to start easily here, and you can always come down to plank on your knees if later when we're doing a real plank it's too much. Shift your weight into your right hand and try to hover the left hand just for a millisecond. And just take a couple pulses here. Noticing how you're really putting some strength into your right arm. Building the strength in the shoulder by having just one arm supporting you. And then take some pulses into the other side. Put the weight into the left hand. And hover the right hand. Nice. And then bring the right hand down to the floor. This time, tuck the toes, and then we'll hover the knees above the floor. So just a couple inches. We're almost in a plank position here, but instead of landing in plank, let's push the hips all the way back, keeping the bend in the knees, and then straighten the legs to come into a downward facing dog. And you can pedal out the feet here if you feel any tightness in the calves. And just take a couple breaths in what is supposed to be a resting position. And let's widen the feet so at least a hip's width. That looks like a good distance for both of you. And then put the weight up into the balls of the feet. So lift the heels as high as you can, and then shift the heels over to the right side, coming into kind of a fallen down dog. And then I want you to really press your left hand into the mat, noticing if you feel any kind of sensation across the left side body. Lift the heels back up to center, and then allow them to fall to the left side this time. Now that you're in this fallen down dog, press into the right hand, noticing any sensation you might feel across the right side body. Bring the heels back up to center, and then just walk forward into an easy forward fold at the top of the mat. And we'll rise up to Tadasana. Let's take our side bend again. You can clasp the hands if you like, if you want to come into the steeple grip, or they can stay apart. Just rise up and then tip over to the right. Again, option to lift the right foot and practice your balance. And then you can put the foot down, come back up to center, and then extend, reach up, and then tip over to the left. Again, maybe trying your balance by lifting your left foot. Nice. You can bring the left foot down, come back up to center. So let's do just a little bit of proprioception. Bring the hands down to the low back, and they can press into the low back. So when we were on the floor pressing our low backs into the strap, I want you to envision you're doing the same thing, but you're standing. So press the low back into the hands here, and just notice if you can create that same feeling across the core. And you can take a couple pulses if that feels like too much. But just notice if you can try to pull the navel towards the back. It's a little bit harder to feel since we don't have gravity on our side. All right, you can release your hands, sweep them back up overhead, and we'll dive forward into a forward fold. And let's just shake out the shoulders for a second. Hopefully your shoulders are starting to feel a little warm. We're gonna do most of what we just did. We're gonna play a dolphin first, and that'll really get you prepared for a headstand. Let's step back to plank. So feet come back. Let's just hang out here for a second. Just take a nice deep breath. Think about the best thing you're going to eat later today. While you're just relaxing in this plank. Bring the knees down and let's wave all the way down to the belly. So we'll come into that Sphinx pose again, where we started with the rising and falling of the upper back. But this time we're going to make a triangle with the hands. So the hands were like this before, kind of bring them together like this. Perfect. So we're still in Sphinx. Instead of allowing the head and neck and shoulders to just relax and disengage, start from a neutral position. And this time we're going to press into the hands and lift the elbows up off the mat. Nice. Doesn't have to be so much. We're just going to take a couple pulses here. Just putting strength into our hands. We've kind of already explored the elbows, but this time we're going to really concentrate on lifting the elbows and trying to lift by pushing into the bottom part of our hands, the fleshy part. Nice. Just take one more of those. And come back down. We'll extend the right arm. Push yourself with your left arm all the way onto the back. If you want to use the strap again, you can for this dead bug exercise, but if you feel like you have that cue, no need for it. So let's hover the knees above the hips. Arms can reach up towards the ceiling and extend the left arm away from the right foot. pressing the low back into the mat. Come back up to center. Opposite side, switch it out. Making sure you're pressing the low back in all the time. One more time each side at your own pace. Nice. And we'll come back up